into its proper context. Look, the new Black Panther Party in '89, from what we know, was strong. They started off with patrols right here.
That's right.
Against drugs. They started off not just with guns, they started with cameras and radios and dealing with violence in the black community.
That's what they did.
They tackled important issues, dealing with the school board and other educational problems, and they had to at times use militant tactics. The new Black Panther Party started off as that germ right here in '89, and in the early '90s did a very important and a mighty work even before they connected with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And again, you had Mike McGee, Black Panther militia in the early '90s. He was on fire.
That's right.
And the Black Panther was swirling in the air and in the atmosphere. And so when Huey was dead and they had killed off the Black Panther Party, I'm quite sure that the U.S. government said, well, that's it. The Black Panther Party is gone.
That's right.
Huey Newton is dead. It'll never rise. And they killed. They say they killed the Messiah. And they did not.
Yes, sir.
It was made to look that way.
Yes, sir.
He say in the Quran, it's saying of Jesus or Yeshua or Esau that God raised him to himself, to an exalted place. And they thought that they had killed that black nationalist, black Messiah, that voice of liberation. But God is a God working in that process. That touched the early founders of the new Black Panther Party. Touched their minds and their hearts and put them back out in the field and put them on the streets and put them on the road to meet the Black Power Mujaddid, Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
That's right. Black Power.
Now Khalid had his own struggles at that time.
Go ahead. Something happened.
Khalid had his own struggles.
What happened, Joe Jeff? What happened with the Jeff?
Look, Khalid was the black nationalist like Malcolm X. He was the modern Malcolm X.
That's right.
When we were with him, we used to call him the modern Malcolm X or the new Malcolm X. As a young student, I really looked up to him. I called him the baby Christ or the baby Messiah. Because at that time, we was all about Farrakhan is the Messiah after the Messiah, Elijah Muhammad, and Khalid was the baby Messiah. He was at peace then. He was strong. If you look at some of his tapes around 1993, I have to say that around 1993, Khalid Abdul Muhammad was at his best teaching.
Right there.
He may not have done all of the militant and radical things he did with the Panther Party, but if you listen to him in 1993, Khalid Abdul Muhammad was the strongest that he had ever been, the clearest he had ever been in terms of his teaching, his ideology, his study, and his ministry. Have you seen the tape called The God Within?
Come on.
Huh? Have you seen that tape, The God Within? And so I used to be with him on the campuses and the universities. I was trained by him side by side, but I would be him, and I was just in awe of this man. And I would call him the baby Christ, because I felt that after Louis Farrakhan, there was nobody touching this man.
That's right.
And so he moved in that way. And then it came a time where he had to have a divorce. And he got busted in the Nation of Islam. He was suspended in the Nation of Islam, and he fell out of that process. Now, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. Of course, in those days, we were just mad. We would just be mad at the nation because Khalid was our man. But 15 years later, we can look at it in a higher sense and ask ourselves, well, if Khalid had remained with the nation, he never would have been given to us.
That's right.
And if he never would have been given to us, I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here either like you are.
Jeez. Go ahead, black man. Wake up.
Because it was Khalid Muhammad that took the foundation that was laid here in Texas, and when he was appointed the chairman in 1998, though he had interacted with the party starting as early as 94, that spread this thing all over the country.
That's right.
And spread this thing all over the world.
That's right.
And so if Khalid never would have departed with the nation, there would be no new Black Panther Party in the way that we have it today. Showing and proving that God is the master of all things. In 1994, May 29th, is that date right, Hashim?
That's right.
Riverside, California. Right. Hashim Nzinga was right there. Khalid's little son, Lil Farrakhan, or Far Gray, was right there. When James Best, Khalid had been suspended, but he was still very popular because we were pushing and promoting lectures for him. That's right. And he was shot in an assassination attempt by a man named James Best, who caught him outside of the lecture in Riverside and pumped some bullets into Khalid's leg. And Hashim was there, and they rushed him to the hospital and stood with him and dealt with the crisis and the trauma and the drama of that time. So he had to get the minister out. That's right. Of California and get him to a safe haven. And at that time, the only safe haven we could get, the only safe haven that we could get with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was with the new Black Panther Party. Black Power. And so we rode here to Dallas. We rode into Dallas. And I flew into Dallas. And I felt so comforted when we came here and we seen this armed group of black men, a band of black men, standing out front of the house we were in with shotguns and rifles, protecting Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Was it Cheryl Smith's house? Cheryl Smith's house. KKDA. And so that's when the marriage began. It wasn't official till later, but the relationship started heating up. There was the church burnings in 1996 when Khalid and Aaron and the others who were in the new Black Panther Party at that time took on the issue of the church burnings. And while all the other civil rights leaders was calling on government intervention, Khalid Muhammad made plain, and Aaron and others made plain their self-defense intentions. That's right. And the banner of self-defense started being raised again in the hells of North America. And then at that time in 1998, Dr. Muhammad was appointed as the chairman of the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. And after being appointed chairman of the new Black Panther Party for self-defense, the party took off like wildfire. That's right. Is that right? That's right. We had the Million Youth March that year. It was Jasper, Texas that year. It was a year to be marked in history. Yes, sir. That's right. It was a year to be marked in history. Teach that history. It was one of the greatest years of my life. That's right. Black power? Black power. Black power. Black power. I got to teach the history on the 20-year anniversary. That's right. I was with Khalid all year. I got cussed out over 198 times. Huh? That's right. I was cussed out on a regular basis. That's right. You ain't been cussed out. You've been cussed out by Khalid. That's why you want to know what keep me here? And after all I said earlier, all these attacks and the slander that go on against me, and niggas talking crazy on the internet, people in your own organization talking crazy, taking the pressure of organizing and helping the people that don't even want to be helped, don't want to give you a dime, that's right. Beat the hell out of you, don't support you, and then say, look at what the nigga can't do. You want to know why I can take it? Because I was whooped by a bold, bald-headed black man. That's right. I was tongue-lashed and beaten by a bold, bald-headed black man. And so we had a great year. And we took on Giuliani. We took on the New York police. 5,000 strong came out for the Million Youth March. They denied us the permit. We went into court. We took the permit. Won the case.